I'm Stephanie Simpson with Child Care Savvy, and I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you what I have learned about child cares and the different age groups as we walk through them, specifically looking at the in-home versus center and different ages. So what I have really discovered is that an in-home child care and a child care center may be more suitable for different families at different ages. When we look at child care, I think now how I really view it is child care that you would purchase for your child 0 to 2, 2.5, 0 to when they're potty trained. And finding that right environment for them. And then looking at a child care from that preschool years. If we didn't have to work or we chose not to work, we would be at home with our child through those 0 to potty trained years. And then we would probably go out and find them a preschool so that it could become socialized and they could learn, and we would look at the different aspects of the preschools. There's the Montessori, the play theme, there's so many of them. And then we would find the right fit for our child depending on how we knew that they developed and learned. Well, so this is really where I think that families sometimes maybe need to go, is that you choose that best fit for your baby. And then you choose that best fit for your preschooler. And for me and my family, what I wanted for my child and my baby was that they were close enough to me so that I could nurse them at lunch, because my goal was to nurse my baby for the first year. And I was just really devastated about having to go to work and to leave my baby, which is slightly entertaining because I never dreamt of being a mom. I always wanted to be a working girl, but a baby changes us. And so I wanted an environment where I knew that my child would really be tended to. And when you go and you see an infant area at a child care center, some things that you'll see is you'll see a row of cribs, you'll see a couple of extra saucers, you'll see some high chairs, and they're on a bit of a rotation, which is great. You know that your child will always be looked at and looked after, and that they'll be around other babies. And then at one, they transition to the next room. I think that what can be difficult is that the 0 to 12 months, they're allowed to be on their own schedule. And then at 12 months, when they transition, they move to the child care center schedule. And with my youngest now just turning 1, for some reason he's gone back to needing 2 naps, and how would he adjust in a center? And so those are some things to think about. If you are not a family that is big on forcing transitions, a center may not be right for you. If you're a family that is really dedicated to transitions and to timelines and to schedules, you might love a center. Now, and the other thing to look at for centers versus in-home for little ones is that, at a center, there's not a lot of flexibility to learn from other children. You really are segregated by age. This can be great because you know that your little one is not going to be trampled by a 3-year-old. At the same time, your little one isn't getting to learn from a 3-year-old. So it really depends on what you want. And one of the reasons, I reevaluated our child care when I went back to work after the second one. And, whether or not this was the right fit for our family now that we had 2 and some other things that had developed. And one thing that was really hard for me when I looked at some really nice centers was that my kids wouldn't be together during the day. And I figured if I was away, at least they could be together. And so I really, really wanted that for them. And I couldn't get that in a center. There was no way for them to be integrated. And so that's something to think about too, what you want for your children and how much time you want them to have together. And so then, those are the things you want to look at. Do you have a really sensitive child? Do you think you're going to have a sensitive child? Do they need to have the same loving arms for 2.5, 3 years? Do you think that they are going to listen better to someone in a home environment than a structured school environment that a child care center can be? And some of those you unfortunately won't know until you meet your baby, but you can always look at both and make your final decision once they arrive. But those are some things that I have really learned. For me, my child really flourished having one provider consistently being there for them. But my oldest needs a lot of loving, needs a lot of cuddling. My in-home provider was willing to wear him in a sling, was willing to follow my stringent instructions on food, which, a center probably would have been too, and helped him when he didn't want to nap. He was really nurtured, which was wonderful. And then, so find the right place for your infant. Don't necessarily find the right place for, all 5-6 years. And then when they get to that 2.5, 3-year-old range, start thinking about if they needed to change from where they've been. And that's a great time to start thinking, are they one who likes to learn a lot? Are they one that likes to pretend a lot? Are they one, there was this gal at our daycare, she's so shy. She is so sweet. She is so shy. But by the time she went to kindergarten, she just flourished. And if she had gone to a center, even though she was preschool age, maybe she wouldn't have flourished as much because she didn't have that constant love and the consistency and the friends. I don't know, but it's something to think about. And then you have other kids. I know somebody transitioned out of our in-home because she really needed more structure. She was a kid that needed structure. And my son's a little bit like that too. And so there's nothing wrong with going out and looking again, just as if you were at home, you would do with a preschooler. So that's really what I have learned. I've learned that there's different stages and different ages for what childcare may fit for us. And so though it's a lot of work to go out and look for childcare, these are our babies, these are our kids. And so I really encourage you to kind of look at it that way, kind of approach it that way. And you might be surprised that it takes a little bit of the stress out of having to find something forever. Also too, it may take some of the stress out if you're feeling like maybe your childcare is no longer the right fit. But the workbook is available for any age. It really can help you walk through having to transition. And of course, email me. I'd love to talk to you about that. And I hope that this has provided a little insight on how childcare is different for different age groups.